Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Welcome back to another episode of the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. This is the Marvelous One with Don and Philosophikal. Back at it again. This week, we're going to talk about the NFC North as we do our divisional breakdown. But before we get started, hey, we got to talk about some of these new contract deals that happened today, right? I was really surprised by this. I wasn't expecting these deals to happen. First of all, the one that we all have been talking about for the past couple of weeks is Saquon Barkley, which is kind of weird, right? He was franchised by the Giants for $10 million, but he signs a one-year deal for $11 million and a few incentives. What you guys feel about
I, I feel that it's a team friendly deal.
that?
It's a deal that didn't undermine his leadership in the locker room because he's gonna be sitting at the front and he's gonna have to tell a couple of people that, hey, you gotta get the business done. You had a chance to get the business done. Now you're in the locker room. Now let's play ball. I think that, like you said, Marv, it's all about you make a deal based on leverage,
Yep.
and he had zero.
Zero. He
Based
had
off the
zero.
history. We'll get into that analysis a little bit deeper later, but I think it was a win for both of them because he had to do something because they already punked him all summer. I mean, they punked him all summer and they already showed their hand. He's lucky he got that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Josh Jacobs, what? He was franchised by the Raiders and he's not showing up to camp. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the market for running backs. What you think, Phil?
I feel like, if you think about it, he got paid $1 million more than the franchise tag. I don't see just between his contract and the franchise tag. I mean, he probably will only see about 100,000 of that, take out taxes and all that other stuff. So, I don't know. I think this is a move to say, we need to see more from you from the Giants, and either he kind of said, I don't want to sit out for the season, or I don't want to sit out and hurt the locker room, hurt the team, and let me just be there. So I don't know. I don't like the deal. I feel like if you're gonna do a deal like this, at least let it be a 2 to 3 year deal, maybe a 3 year, $40 million deal or something like that.
Right.
To kind of show a little bit of leverage. But it looks like now the Giants are prioritizing other positions. They've been held by the hands of signing up Daniel Jones. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the house is on his side to say, hey, just give it a chance, be a little patient. And his agent probably told him, hey, we don't have any leverage here, which I highly disagree. So he took one for the team, not necessarily for him.
Well, I think this is more of a leverage thing, like you guys brought up, because the running back position has been devalued. I think that's kind of the common word that's been used when describing this. And I think here's why I think this is such a horrible deal for Saquon Barkley. One, right? He doesn't get franchised. To me, just going to get franchised. Take the franchise tag, sign it, right? Because the team can only franchise you 2 times. They can only franchise you one after the other, and that's it. They can't franchise you anymore. Well, he just gave them the option to franchise him next year and then the year after that, right? You did that for $1 million more. I don't see the advantage in that. You lose some leverage there. And 2, Saquon Barkley is 26 years old. In another 2 years, they're gonna say he's washed up, right? Because he's getting close to 30. They might let him go after that. At 30 years old, when you get close to 30 as an NFL running back, some kind of way, it means you're washed up. I hadn't figured that out, but it seems to be true. Like, look at Ezekiel Elliott. He's probably, 27, 28 now? Cowboys cut him loose. Not a stud?
Okay, because he signed, you made a good point. Because he signed this new deal, so next year, are you saying they can franchise tag him for $10 million again?
Well, whatever the market is for running backs. So it could be 11 or 12 million next year. But
could be 8.
Well,
Could
yeah,
be
it could
8.
be 8, right? Yeah, you're right. It could go
And then
down.
the year after could go back to 10.
Yeah,
So I kind of see maybe they're saying, hey, we signed you for 1 year deal. We got to franchise tag you twice. That's 3 years. Yeah.
yeah. Just sign the tag this year to wipe out that one of the 2 franchise tags that they could do. They could do to you. So
Well,
yeah,
when he already tagged, after the date, it was 2 weeks ago. The
he didn't
deadline,
sign it.
right?
They didn't
Oh, he
sign
didn't
it, so
sign
it doesn't count. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't make sense to me. I don't know who his agent is. Maybe there's an explanation as to why they did this. Maybe that's some kind of way they're getting something out of the deal. I don't know if it's just the incentives that he
Maybe it's
likes.
an incentive deal. I was going to say an
Yeah,
incentive deal.
maybe it's the incentives. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't
It's
know.
also a bad deal.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. But the point is, he's with the Giants. You know that I'm sure Daniel Jones is happy,
Of
and
course.
yeah, and now this makes my point that the Giants will win the division. All right, let's move on. I don't want to get into that with you, Phil. All right, so Justin Herbert signs an extension with the Chargers for $262 million. I mean, right? What else the Chargers are going to do, right? Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's
still
a
bad for
franchise.
Austin Eckler.
Oh yeah, that's right, Austin Eckler. Yeah, we go back to running backs being devalued. Yeah. But
it spells bad for the coach.
Yeah, well, the coach, there's a lot of pressure on him. Brandon Staley has to win.
The organization has chose the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what this means. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that goes without saying. He is the franchise.
Yeah, but they usually get the coach and quarterback around the same an extension sometimes around the same time. Sometimes.
Right. But we can all see that they're not sold on Brandon Staley.
Nope.
So
yeah. And they brought in Kellen Moore. So yeah.
Oh, hopefully we don't see any weird end of game plays like he did with the Cowboys. So
we'll see.
Yeah, and speaking of the Cowboys, Trayvon Diggs signs an extension with them for $97 million. So they solidify their star on defense but
they
the
still
backfield.
didn't sign that offensive lineman. Yeah. So once again, Cowboys about to be a day late, dollar short. Because without that guy on that line, you can't run the ball. And you have a new offensive coach that said that he wants to run the ball more. So, cats off to Diggs for getting that contract. I know he was at the time talking with ex players that played with Dallas, that and those guys trying to find out how do you negotiate, with with the Dallas, but I just still think that Dallas is moving in the wrong direction because he did a lot of phenomenal things on defense, but if you don't get that offensive line there, then everything that you want to do is going to move backwards fast.
So you think they're moving the wrong direction because they gave that money to Dak?
And they gave, I look at signings as prioritization. So it's a combination of things, but right now I think that you folded underneath for the pressure just because what the media is saying is that you got a disgruntled player, but also you got a disgruntled offensive guy who's actually been producing way more. So I don't know what is the more value, but we'll see moving forward. I mean, maybe they got that in the works.
Lost Ezekiel Elliott, and you got a running back coming off an injury. You would think you want that offensive line into top shape.
And that's why I said they signed the wrong first.
Well, the only pushback I got to that, Don, is that Zach Martin has had a lot of injury problems. And so you got to ask yourself, is he valued at a huge contract considering that he's, sometimes he's not available? You remember at one time the Cowboys had the best offensive line in the game, and those guys went through some injuries. So you got to ask yourself, is it a smart move to give him a big deal, knowing his injury
Do
history?
you consider him? Do you consider him a top guard in the NFL? No.
The
I don't know.
analytics does. The analytics does.
The analytics does.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a market out there for guards. You know, they don't
Okay.
grow on trees.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm just looking at the injury history. I'm not saying that he's not good. Come on, we all say the best ability is availability. And if he's not
I think they
available,
could have gave that
how
money.
good is he?
They could have gave that money to him and probably franchise tag Diggs.
Yeah. I look. The way I would run a team, and you may not agree with my GM approach,
Probably
but
not.
probably not. Offensive linemen, running backs. I'll just keep drafting them or signing them in free agency. But I'm gonna play. I'm gonna pay my stars. I'm gonna pay Diggs.
You know how hard it is to find tackles?
Left tackles is hard, but everybody else, I think they're easy to find. Yeah, I would value the left tackle. That's why the left tackle is the most expensive offensive lineman.
Until you have a left-handed quarterback.
Oh, then I would get a right tackle. so yeah, no, good point. But I mean, the positions of value: quarterback, left tackle, defensive end, middle linebacker, corner. Those are the positions of value. That's what my money would be. Now, to be different, I hear you. To be different, like if I had Drew Brees, and this is what the Saints did. The Saints valued their guards because Drew Brees was a small quarterback, and he had to step up in the pocket. So they protected him up front with expensive guards opposed to tackles. So it all depends on the type of team you have and how you should value.
Yeah, but is Trevon Diggs the top corner in this league?
Yes. He led the league in interceptions one year. So he gets turnovers. I like that.
He gets burnt a lot too.
He does. But to me, turnovers are more important.
You're paying him like a top corner. I mean, he's getting burnt a lot.
Deion Sanders said it best. I'm not out here to make tackles. I'm out here to make interceptions. And, you know.
Not a lot of people were throwing on Deion.
What's that?
Not a lot of people were throwing on Deion.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
They throwing the Trevon Diggs every play.
They are. But all I know is that when that ball's near him, he catches that interception and makes a turnover. That, to me, turnovers are way more important than pass deflections.
Yeah, but I think he's susceptible to the double move, and I don't think that defensive coordinator schemes that enough. Like he'll turn his weakness into a strength,
right?
As far as their defensive scheme.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. He does get burned a lot. He does fall for the double moves, and that's probably because of his over aggressive nature.
They drafted him as a safety too.
What's that?
He's a safety turned corner.
Yeah. I thought he was a receiver turned corner.
I thought he was a safety.
Maybe so. You're probably right on that. So, yeah. Well,
that's where the lead the league in interceptions comes from, for a corner.
Well, yeah, but that's what I liked about Marcus Williams. I like when the Saints drafted him out of Utah State. I think it was Utah State. Utah State. I like the fact that he was a former receiver turned defensive back. So to me, turnovers. We needed turnovers. And he made turnovers. His ability to find the ball when it's in the air was like more valuable than a defensive back that can make the big hit. It's like, okay, we play in a flag football league right now. I need somebody to catch the interception. Get me turnovers. That's more important.
You're right, Marv, because most defensive players do not have catch radius. Meaning
none.
They can't, cut. If they cut in front of it, they cut it in front to deflect. As opposed to back then when Ed Reed and those guys, they weren't trying to deflect. They was trying to change the possession of the ball.
Right.
So they was trying to play. They was trying to turn that into offense.
Right. That I remember watching something on NFL Network where they had Bill Belichick with Ed Reed, and he was gushing all over Ed Reed. I was like, Jesus Christ. Ask him out on a date, Bill Belichick. But he was breaking down the plays on how Ed Reed tricked Peyton Manning, baited him into throwing a pass. He turned his hips one way, and Peyton Manning instantly threw it left. And Ed Reed, once he turned his hips, he quickly turned back left and went to the ball as if he was the receiver. He knew exactly where the play was going. And I was like, yo, that's what you need on defense. You need players like that understand the game, that understand how to track those balls down.
Yeah, but also that was scheming because we had Rex back there.
Reed wasn't covering one-on-one, though. He was free safety.
True, but he could cover one-on-one.
But that was defensive scheming too, because you had Rex back there. So, you had that center field. You had, Big Goose, Ray.
I'm scared of Trayvon Diggs.
I think I wouldn't say scared. Well, you're not going to throw at him because on a straight up one-on-one move, you're just not going to beat Diggs. Diggs has fast recovery speed.
Yes.
The thing that you can get him on is the double moves.
Yeah.
Or you force him to think that a play is going somewhere just by giving him a wrong lineup. So sometimes defensive coordinators. Yeah, but some defensive coordinators, they do too much homework. And as an offensive coach, you say, okay, in this formation, we're going to run this route. And somebody's trying, okay, well, in that formation, I'm gonna jump this route. So that's how you'll beat them. You'll beat them by being deceptive in your setups and schemes, but also with the double move.
Right.
I'm just wondering, where is this money going to come from for Micah Parsons? Where's this money going to come for CD Lamb? I'm just wondering,
I think it's there.
Jerry.
I think it's there. I think that's why they penny pinching on everything else. That's why you don't see Zach Martin getting his deal. I think that they're playing it out to get Parsons his money, to get CD Lamb his money. Okay. So, but look, he still got to pay. They still got to pay him. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they're kind of holding back. Those guys are probably next. Well, let's talk about these new rules before we get into the division. So, a couple of new rules that came out kind of caught my eye. Right. Obviously, players now can wear number 0. That's going to be kind of weird. It was weird watching that in college football, but that's a thing. And as regards to college football, right, they changed the kickoff rule too. Now you can fair catch it and get the ball at the 25-yard line. Fair catch it anywhere on the field and get it at the 25-yard line. So that's a change. Yeah. And this is the one that kind of caught my eye at first. The illegal handoff rule now. They kind of tweaked that rule. Now, at first, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's dirty. That they're going after RPOs, quarterbacks that run RPOs. How are you going to say that you can't hand the ball off to a player in front of you? That's dirty. But if you read the rule closely, and I think I understand it, if the player is lined up in front of the quarterback, it's about where the player starts. If he's in front of the quarterback and then the quarterback hands the ball off to that player in front of him, then that's an illegal handoff. But if the player is standing next to the quarterback, side by side, lateral to the quarterback, or behind the quarterback can hand the ball off to the running back. So it doesn't necessarily affect RPOs in that way. It may affect it as far as like the jet sweep to a receiver, but it doesn't really affect it to the running back that's next to the quarterback. Did you guys read it that way?
Yeah, I read it that way more often. Also, I read it where as though offensive coordinators now they have to change their lineup and they have to change their scheming as far as play action and things of that nature, because sometimes that can be treated as a play action in order to hold those linebackers, because you use a lot of that to stop the blitzes and also to free up the tight end. So I'm itching to see. I'm gonna look at the numbers at the tight end and see how that really affects.
So pretty much, I feel like I was saying, sorry about that. I was saying I feel like pretty much I just wonder if they're gonna really call this a lot. What's gonna be the severity of this? As far as affecting RPOs, I think NFL teams are kind of moving away from running that a lot. Certain teams are running that, but I don't think it's going to be ran that much. I think they're trying to stop the stop a lot of the I don't see a lot. I don't see a lot of teams running a lot of RPOs. I think it's going back to traditional. Tell me I'm lying.
You lying?
Yeah, you lying.
Tell me, okay, who's running it right now? Other
The
than
the new quarterbacks is coming into the league.
Well,
Everybody wants.
I can start quickly with the Ravens and Eagles. They run it.
okay, that's two. Who else?
That's two. The Bills run it. The Saints run it.
I think the Bills. I think the Bills are gonna not run
The
that this year.
Bears,
The Bears run it.
Green
Okay.
Bay will because they have a young quarterback.
Green Bay's not running that. It's gonna be okay. Four teams are running this. 4 teams.
No, that's more. That's more.
Four teams.
The Falcons run it. The Falcons did it with Mariota last season, and
Mariota's
I'm sure they're going.
not playing this year for them.
I'm
They
sure
got
Desmond Ridder.
Des-
I'm sure Desmond
Okay.
Ridder's going to
Hey,
run it.
They're gonna
Okay.
run some plays because they have to freeze those. That's how you freeze a blitz.
Yes.
That's how you kill a blitz.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said. I
Daniel
honestly.
Jones.
Yep.
that's
Yeah,
not
you're
even-
right.
that's not
The
even-
Giants.
well, he has to run it. So he has to run it. So I just feel like this is going to be very interesting with this rule change. I think they're trying to really stop a lot of the RPOs. I could be wrong. That's just an opinion, but we'll see. We'll see if it's going to be called a lot in the league this year.
Well, I think what it stops is that it hurts the 49ers more than anything, right? Because Deebo Samuel lines up as a receiver. He comes in motion. The quarterback gets the snap, and he hands it off to Samuel as he's running across the field. So you got a defensive back trying to chase him and weave his way through the linebackers to keep up with him. And it puts the defense at a disadvantage because now you got the running back running full speed. It's almost like Canadian football, where the player can run back and get a full head of steam and gets the ball handed off to him. Well, this is kind of what's happening with Deebo Samuels when he's coming in motion and they hand the ball off to him up front and then he runs to the other side of the field. So I think it
Why do you
hurts
think they made this change? Why do you think
Why?
they made this change?
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm gonna say it because they're trying to make it even for the slow quarterbacks. They want the big, tall quarterbacks looking pretty in the pocket like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They do not want us to bring Pop Warner to the NFL.
Yeah.
Lamar brought Pop Warner to the NFL.
He sure did.
I ain't gonna even say Lamar did it. Vic did it, but Vic didn't do it enough people because Pop Warner, Cunningham, those were running quarterbacks that, and believe it or not,
I think
Young was a Pop Warner quarterback. Look how much he ran. But
for his
now
short
you're
career, I think
seeing-
RG3 too. I think that's where it started. The RG3.
RG3, yeah.
RG3. I think
they
it was
brought
a lot of
Go ahead.
A lot of the RG3 stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a very good point because Mike Shanahan said they went to Baylor and brought the Baylor offense to DC for the Redskins so RG3 could run it.
Wasn't Kyle Shanahan wasn't there, was he?
Yeah, he was. He was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, okay.
He was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah. Yep.
And he runs the same offense with the 49ers no matter who the quarterback is because he's handing it off to a jet sweeping receiver, or he's handing it off to McCaffrey in the backfield. And there's so much misdirection out there that's happening. It's crazy.
Yeah.
with
So-
Debo and them on the
I don't know.
field
I don't know
this
the purpose of this rule change.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. Hold on. So he is kind of contradictory because when they made the tuck rule and tried to protect Tom Brady and things like that, they started putting all these rules in place to protect the quarterback. And now you're protecting the most dangerous weapon. You've kind of overprotected the most dangerous weapon on the field, and that's the person who gets the ball first. That's the quarterback.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's an interesting rule. We'll see how that works out once the season starts. One last rule change I wanted to just mention was the fourth down rule change, which will now be automatically reviewed, just like scoring plays. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm happy they did that because now that means coaches don't have to, look up at the boot and see whether or not they got the first down and throw out the red flag. Now it's just going to be automatic, which it should be. So But anyway, let's get into the division, man. Let's get into the NFC North. We have our so-called NFC North expert on the panel, Phil. So you're here to let us know if we're crazy or not, and I'm sure you're gonna have a lot to say about my picks. So,
I do.
Yeah, so we'll let you go last.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So let's break it down first, right? The Vikings won the division at 13-4. The Vikings had a lot of close games during the season, especially towards the end of the season. They had the greatest comeback in NFL history, right? 33 points down. That's the biggest comeback to the Colts, right?
Yep.
The biggest comeback before that was 32 points. I didn't realize that until I saw the quarterback series on Netflix, which was really good. So, but yeah, biggest comeback in NFL history. The Vikings did it. They went 13-4. They lost to the Giants in the first round of the playoffs. This year, Brian Flores comes in as the defensive coordinator to help strengthen that defense. So
I like that move.
You like that move? Okay.
I like that move. Yep. Yeah, I like that move.
Okay. All right. So second in that division was the Detroit Lions. They ended the season at 9-8. They struggled out the gate at 1-6, but finished the season really strong with Goff leading the way, winning 8 out of 10 of the games. So they were 9-8. A lot of people are speaking very highly of the Lions going into this season. So we'll see how that shapes out with them. Was it third in the division? Were the Packers with Aaron Rodgers? Pretty interesting how it shaped out for the Packers. They actually had a chance to make the playoffs and couldn't close the deal against the Lions at the end of the season. So they missed the playoffs at 8-9. And so Aaron Rodgers is now with the Jets. And is it Jordan Love? Jordan Love is now the quarterback.
Jordan Love, yep.
And last in the division was the Chicago Bears. The Bears ended the season, what was it, 13-14? And they lost
3-14.
3-14. That's it, 13. 3-14. Yeah, that would have been a good season. They lost 10 straight games. So, yeah, not a good look for the Bears. But we'll see how it shapes out. So what's your thoughts on it, Don? I'll let you go first, and then I'll follow you.
Oh man, let me go to blow up these notes because I'm going to get hot with this. This is a real interesting division, man, because even though Minnesota ended with 13-4, I'm gonna start off with the Lions. I got the Lions winning this division, and here's why. You're looking at the upgrades. They did pretty good in the draft, 2 first round of rushers. You got Hutchinson and you got Campbell. Did pretty good, and they ramped up. Their 30th ranked defense and free agency with Mosley, Sutton, and also Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson got hurt, but also, thanks to you, Marv, the Saints, they traded him away to last year for Philadelphia. In that trade and that Super Bowl run year, I think he got snubbed for the Pro Bowl, but he had a pretty good season. You're looking at how he started. He started, the first 11 games before he got hurt, but he wound up ending the season with 1 sack, looking at 67 tackles and 67 tackles, 61 of them being solo. 6 interceptions and 8 pass deflections. So he put in that work. So they're solidifying their defense. I think they had a pretty solid offense already.
I don't mean to cut you off to stop you here, but I got to make this point to you. Gardner Johnson was carted off the field yesterday. So don't know how serious the injury is, but as depending on if it's really bad, he may not be able to play.
They pulled it up. He said he seems okay. So
he seems okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No structural damage. Gotcha.
No structural damage. He'll be ready for the start of the season. May not get much work in the preseason, but I looked that up prior to that. There's the last 8 hours that they reported that his leg is seemingly doing pretty good.
My bad.
So looking at that team, pretty good offense, but now they solidified everything on defense. I think they're going to finish in first place, but I got them finishing at 10-7 because of the way that they're going to start off real tough. They start off with the Chiefs and the Seahawks and the Falcons, and they don't get a break until they get the Packers, the Panthers, and then the Bucks. But then they jump into it and get the Ravens. So how they survive the first 6 games is going to give a good, but I think that they'll do pretty well. I think the Seahawks are not structurally sound enough, and I think they can steal that game. And also, I think they can steal the game from the Seahawks as well. So I think they can lose the first game and then go on a 3-0 or 4-0 run before they face the Ravens and then get into the meat of their lineup. I'm gonna jump down to the second team that I'm looking at, the Vikings. One good thing that I can say about the Vikings is that even though Cooks left the team, he's the only thing that's different about their lineup. Everything else is the same. Everything else is the same on a solid team. Outside of them replacing their defensive coordinator, which was their defense was terrible. Just go ahead and say it. Just playing out 29th in the league, and as far as measured by yards per play. And right now they're trying to do some different things with their new defensive coordinator. He had a couple of runs as head coach and did some pretty good sound things, but I think that Kirk Cousins can win a lot of games for him if the defense doesn't give up as much yards as they did last year. And I think that they're having a sound defense. A coordinator come in with new structure. He did pretty good things when he was down in Miami. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they move forward. But Kirk Cousins is the X factor when it comes down to Minnesota. I kind of have the Bears, and I'm kind of torn between the Bears right now because there's a lot of things that they have. They upgraded their wide receiver core because they got DJ Moore, but also they solidified their defense, signing Edmonds and Edwards. So that right there, made up for a lot of things that they had as far as the corner and edge, as far as having poor rushing. Because last year they finished with only 20 sacks. That was the worst in the NFL. For their defense, they cannot get it's not that you don't have good corners. You can't put no pressure on the ball. So he's sitting in the pocket and, ain't too many players that can hold a route for more than 8 seconds. You mean more than 5 seconds or 6? So, the corners was getting burnt and things of that nature. But I think the offense is going to be on the field a little bit more due to the fact that I think Fields is a little bit more seasoned. And he has, like I said before, he has a wide receiver that has a better catch radius and that can create some separation. And they did pretty good in the draft as far as what they did. But they went top and heavy on the part of the draft as far as looking at defense. You look at a defensive tackle, corner, defensive tackle. So they went really heavy on defense. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do. And rounding things out, the Packers.
Why you sound so excited?
Because, the only thing I can say positive about them is that they got A.J. Dillon and Jones, which means that they're going to have a solid running game and may be able to give their defense a breather or two. But Love, 83 passes since 2020. And then you're looking at expectation management. You're looking at a team that has 31 straight years of Pro Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback between Barr and Rodgers. And it's like, I want to come back. You had Michael Jordan, then you had Kobe Bryant, and now you got to come in and play after them. That's a lot to put on your plate. And I don't think that, Green Bay is ready or they manage the expectations correctly. They're a basement team, not just for their division. They're a basement team for the NFL. I think they need 2 more years of drafting in order to get right. But outside of that, I'll run it through again. I got Detroit Lions 10-7, Vikings at 9-8, Bears at 9-8. But I think the tiebreaker will go to the Vikings, and I got Green Bay being at 5-12. I yield my time. Back to you, Mo.
I see Phil over there biting his lip. I'm sure he's total disagreement in that. You got anything you want to say, Phil? Or you gonna wait?
Well, I can go next if you like me to. This is gonna.
You want to go next? Okay,
I can go next, and this is
all
the
right. I'll
thing.
let you go next. I know you
this
can
is-
only hold so long.
This is the thing. All right,
Just wait.
Yeah.
Detroit last year surprised me, right? The one big key I don't think is being talked about is they were rumors of the offensive coordinator leaving, and they kept their offensive coordinator. A lot of people were very surprised about their first round pick. I think I liked it. I liked it, and I like what they did in the second round. I like what they did in the draft. So I got Detroit. I definitely agree. Detroit's going to win 10 games this year. So I do think they're going to win the division. Number two, this is going to surprise a lot of people, right? And I've been slowly watching them, right? And you know what? I think the Bears are going to be second. I think that I think let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
You're trying to steal my thunder. That's why you wanted to go next. Go ahead.
The Bears have got something to prove. They're gonna win 9 games. Justin Fields, I do think he's gonna be better this year, coming up with better weapons. I think that coach has got something to prove. Defensive coach, they spent money all over the team. They got a great defense, actually. If they can kind of get that running game together, their secondary is nice. They got a safety back there. They got a corner over there. They're still tinkering with the defensive line. I like the DJ Moore's trade. I like what's the kid they got out of Pittsburgh?
Mooney.
Oh, I always forget his name. No, the wide receiver they traded for. No, the other guy.
Claypool.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Claypool. I like what they did for Claypool, which is going to put Mooney right back in the slot. So they're going to have Claypool on one side, Mooney in the slot, and DJ Moore on the outside. I like what they did on the offensive line. I'm questioning their running game a little bit because they lost Devin Singletary.
They got Fields.
So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, the Bears are going to be second in this division. That's my surprise pick. They're going to win 9 games. Number 3, I'm sorry, the Vikings are going to be third in this division. They got a tough schedule. They play the Bengals, Chiefs. Like I said, they won 11 games, close games. That ain't happening again this year. Not against this schedule they got. I'm just going to run down the schedule a little bit of who they play. And I can just point out the L's. Eagles, L. Chargers, maybe. They play the Chiefs. They play the Bears. I think it's going to be an L. They play the 49ers. They play the Saints, Falcons, Broncos, Bengals. They play the Lions twice, of course. I think this is a recipe for. I think they're going to take a step down. So I think they're going to be third in this division, and I think the Packers are going to be fourth. I think they're going to win about between 5 and 6 games. I don't think Jordan Love is that bad, but I question a lot of the Packers wide receivers. They're young. They got 2 great running backs. Offensive line is a little shaky this year. They lost a lot on the offensive line. That defense is good, which is going to have to carry them all season. But I think the Packers will win about 6 games, so they'll be fourth in the division. So I got the
Lions.
I'm sorry, I got the Lions, the Bears, the Vikings, and the Packers.
Interesting. You stole it. You read my notes. That's what it sounds like to me. You read my notes.
I'm gonna see. I mean, you're 5-20 as a quarterback. You got something to prove, but this is it for Justin Fields, and I've said this to you before. This is it for him. They when you spend money on a quarterback, when you spend money on like free agents, big free agents, you're expected to win. So this is it for Justin Fields.
Okay.
So I kind of disagree, and here's why. Because
I
got the first 2 games winning, but the Chiefs, I don't have them beating the Broncos.
Who we talking about?
You're talking about the Vikings schedule, right?
No, I'm talking about the Bears.
Oh, the Bears. Okay.
So I'm looking at those. I don't have them beating the Vikings in the head-up battle.
They'll beat the Vikings. They always play the Vikings tough.
Okay, that's gonna be a pick 'em. but I don't have them beating the Chargers. And the Saints are not the same team. The Saints are not a bye week this year.
They'll beat okay. They play the Packers, Bucks. Okay, they'll lose to the Chiefs.
They're gonna lose to the
Broncos.
Lions.
Okay, that's
So
They'll
beat the Commanders.
Let me break it down for you guys. Let me break it down to you, because I'm gonna break it down by how the schedule is set up. Because you got to keep in mind, the Bears are playing a fourth place schedule, and I'll pull out those teams that they will beat because they're playing a fourth place schedule. So
the Saints, they got the Panthers,
but they play that
Saints
entire division. No, they play
Saints
that
are not
entire.
a bye week.
Hey, so listen to me, guys. Listen to me. All of the teams played the NFC South, so they're gonna all play the Saints. They're all gonna play the teams in the AFC West. So they all play the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Broncos. They all play them. So, but here's where it's different, right? Because how they ended in their division determines who they play in the other division. In the other division, the NFC, and then in the AFC North, it determines how they play those teams. So here we go. This is why I have the Bears winning this division. Okay.
What?
Yes, I have the Bears.
Wow.
I went over it.
Wow.
I went over. I was like, wait a minute.
Hey, let me sit down for this one.
Just
Go
sit
ahead,
down
Miles.
for it.
I'm gonna hit the mute button.
I would be shocked.
So
hit the mute button. Go.
So the over and under on the Bears is actually 7.5. Vegas has the Bears being pretty good this year. 7.5. I have them going over. I got them winning 10 games here. I think Justin Fields, just like you guys said, Justin Fields is a budding star right now. He adds an element of some of the Lamar Jackson because he rushed for 1,000 yards last season. He's a budding star. So he rushed for 1,000 yards. So he can throw it now because he's got some receivers on the outside. Like you say, DJ Moore is there. They traded for Claypool. And now this allowed Darrell Mooney to move to the slot. So that opens up the offense for him. They improved on defense. But what you guys are missing, yes, the Saints may not be a pushover, but the Bucks are. The Bucks and the Panthers are a pushover. So they got some pushovers there.
The Cardinals.
Exactly. So they play the Cardinals, right? Yeah. And the Vikings play the 49ers because that's where they ended in the division. So they got a pushover there. Then they got another pushover with the Commanders. The Vikings have to play the Eagles, whereas the Bears.
The Commanders are a pushover.
They're much more of a pushover than the Eagles. I would rather face them than the Eagles. The Bears have to face the Commanders, whereas the Vikings have to face the Eagles, right? And since they have to play the AFC North, the Bears have to play the Browns, and the Vikings have to play the Bengals.
Yeah, but as far as the schedule, the Raiders are more of a pushover than the Commanders.
But they all play the Raiders. They all play the Raiders. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, they all got the Raiders on their schedule because they play that entire division. They play the entire NFC South. But the breakdown are the 3 extra games where they play based on where you finished in your division. So that, to me, gives the Bears an edge.
Yeah, but the Bears and Commanders is kind of a rival game. They always play tough. That ain't really, last couple of years, their games have been close.
Dude, they're playing Sam Howell. So look.
I ain't saying that.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So look, the way I see it, I'm not saying that the Bears are so much better than the Vikings. I'm saying the Bears, with their 4th place schedule, gives them a better opportunity to win this division. So I have the Bears either going 9-8 or 10-7 and winning this division. And I have the Vikings coming second at 9-8 or 10-7. Second, I think the Bears are going to get the edge. They're probably going to split between them two. And the Bears are probably going to win a head-to-head based on division record or conference record or something like that and get the edge over the Vikings because the Vikings have a much harder schedule. They have a first-place schedule playing the Eagles, 49ers, and Bengals, which are the difference between the schedules of the different teams. So I got the Vikings coming second, and the Vikings over and under is 8.5. So not much. It's just one game over the Bears. So, Vegas got them at 8.5. So I got them winning. I got them going over winning either 9-8 or 10-7, tying with the Bears, and coming second. And then third, I got the Lions. And
go ahead and break that down with great detail.
I
please.
will,
Yeah, they
because
got-
I was
doesn't
a
Vegas
little
have the Lions
disappointed.
winning 7.5.
They got the Lions winning 9.5, and I got the under on
9.5.
this.
Okay.
9.5.
Wow.
And I got the under on this. And I was a
Wow.
little disappointed. I mean, because all the talk has been about the Lions, right? Everybody's telling us that the Lions are going to be really good. They performed well last season. They won 8 out of the last 10. The Lions are primed to win this division. And I do think the Lions are a good team. But, man, the way that schedule works out, I don't think so. They got to play the Cowboys, Seahawks, and Ravens, right?
Cowboys are not to be feared. Keep going. Ravens and who else?
Seahawks.
They got
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Seahawks. I
Falcons.
got to pick them on that one.
They got Seahawks, Falcons. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry. They got Panthers, Chiefs, Seahawks, Falcons, Packers, Panthers, Bucks, Ravens, Raiders, Chargers, Bears, Packers, Saints.
Once again, they
Bears,
all
Broncos.
play those teams. Everybody in that division is going to play the NFC South. They're going to play the AFC West. They all going to play them. The differences in their schedule is that the Lions will play the Cowboys, Seahawks, and Ravens. The Bears don't play those teams. The Packers.
Mark,
Okay.
I kind of understand your analysis, but some of your analysis.
Well, you hadn't heard my analysis on the Lions.
Well, I'm telling you that the schedule is false analysis because you're under the pretense that the teams that they're playing did not get better or get worse.
But hear me out. There's 3 teams that the Bears and the Vikings won't play that the Lions have to play. The Vikings have 3 teams that the other teams won't have to play. So that is the difference in the schedule. They're all playing the Saints. They're all playing the Falcons.
The reason why I put the Bears second is the timing of those when they play those teams.
Now that may factor into it, but there's going to be some
timing of when they play those teams is a little bit spread out. They don't play those teams back to back or every other.
Right.
They're spread out. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an advantage there. So you got to look at that. So when I look at the Lions schedule, they got a second place schedule because they ended second in the division. So they got to play all the second place teams. The Ravens was second in the AFC North. The Seahawks was second in the NFC West.
That's the
Cowboys was second in the NFC East. So they're playing all the second place teams. So not saying that I think they're going to go under this 9.5, and they're going to end either 8-9 or 9-8, just missing the playoffs because they had to play.
You're telling me the Bears are better than the Lions.
I am not telling you that the Bears are better. I am telling you that the Bears have a more favorable schedule.
Okay.
That is my point. It's not that one team is better than the other. It's just that I don't have to play certain teams that you have to play.
I don't have. And I think the timing of the Bears' schedule gives them a favorable to be in second place.
Yeah, they have a fourth place schedule. This is why you always surprised every year when some new team wins a division, or like the Seahawks come in second in the NFC West. It's because they had a fourth place schedule. They played some weaker teams. So
that's the thing about what I said, right? Justin Fields. Let's not front like Justin Fields is this. A budding star means like you're on your way, right? He's 5-20.
Okay,
he's 5-20. So this is it for him. It's not like let's not front like he's this budding star. He's carrying that team.
I'm not gonna say
they're winning games.
So I think
no.
So let me finish my.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So look, this is my prediction. Okay, so I got the Bears, Vikings, Lions.
Wow.
So Lions, I think because of a tough schedule, they're going to come in 8-9, 9-8. And then lastly, I got the Packers. And this is not to say that Jordan Love is not a good quarterback. This is to say that when Aaron Rodgers left, he took everybody with him, right? They already lost Adams. Then he took all his other receivers. So they didn't leave much for Love. I know they got one young receiver. I can't think of his name right now. It escapes me.
Romeo Dobbs.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, he
Watkins.
It was
Something
Watkins. Yeah. So
Watkins.
so they got him. It might be something that Jordan Love can grow with, but there's going to be some growing pains with that. And as I said, it's not to say that he's not a good quarterback, but they have to reshape that team in the image and likeness of Love, and so that's going to take time. And so I don't have them being all god awful, but they're over and under 7.5, and I got them going under that. I got them winning 7 and 10. I think it's going to be a tough division. I think this is going to be kind of crowded in this division because one, I don't think the NFC South is strong. I think there's two teams that are really weak that are cupcakes for this division. I think the AFC West has two cupcakes. So that's 4 wins for these teams in this division, which makes it crowded. And all of these teams are going to win more than 7 games. But this is the division where I have the Bears winning it, Vikings, and I think I said that, 3 teams making the playoffs.
And I said that last week, and y'all laughed at me, by the way. So my thing is right, if you look at the timing of the Vikings schedule, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's brutal versus the Bears schedule, right? And that's why I said the Vikings are going to come third in the division, because the Vikings, let me just go back to their schedule real quick. The Vikings, right? In the first 3 weeks, okay, Bucks, cupcake, right? Then they play the Eagles, then they play the Chargers back to back.
Yep.
Those are the Eagles lost, and then the Chargers, that could be a loss. Then the Panthers, that's a winnable. Then the Chiefs, then they play the Bears, then they play the 49ers. They got a tough, this is a tough schedule, right? Packers, Falcons, Saints, they can probably go either 1-2 or 3-0 there, right? Broncos,
But I think there's one part of this equation that you're leaving out. The Vikings are actually a good team, and they have the best receiver in the game.
They got a rookie receiver on the other side. They got a developing defense, and they lost their star wide receiver, and they got offensive line problems.
They lost their star wide receiver?
I'm sorry, running back, star running back, Dalvin Cook.
But he wasn't there much. Madison has taken over. Madison is clearly
and that's the thing.
Madison is just as good.
Just as good, doing the same things. But I think you forget the other receiver. Who's your other receiver with the
the rookie from USC. They drafted him this year.
No, not him. Last year. He scored
KJ Osborne.
Osborne.
KJ Osborne.
KJ.
No, not KJ.
Whoever KJ is.
Osborne.
KJ Osborne. He's a slot.
Yes. He's a good receiver, and Cousins likes him. That's why they was able to let Thielen go.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they let Thielen go. They let him go and get late.
But as long as you got Justin Jefferson back there, catching passes from Kirk Cousins, you're gonna win games. That gives you a couple of games right there. Just Justin Jefferson, he's gonna make plays. So
I think this
he's gonna command the double team.
He's going to command the double team too, so he's going to give other people opportunities. Good point.
I think the schedule does not favor the Vikings.
They don't.
This defense is a work in progress.
Okay. But here's the thing, and this is what I liked about this division that we're talking about. There's nobody putting no separation between, because I had Detroit at 10-7. I had, Minnesota at 9-8, and I had the Bears at 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Packers, I just totally disagree with y'all. They're gonna be 5-12. They're terrible. They have no weapons.
6 games.
Man, whatever. It is not. If they win, it's gonna be during the colder months, because teams ain't gonna want to come and play up there. But the first 3 teams,
but Don, they got 4 cupcakes. They got 4 cupcakes on their schedule.
The Packers?
Listen, and guess what? They have a quarterback who don't know the playbook.
I wouldn't say that.
Huh? I would.
No, they've been saying that in practice. He's not looking good in training camp.
He's looking good.
He's not looking good in training camp. Let's not say Jordan Love.
He's going. By the time he learned the playbook, half the season gonna be over.
Dude's been on the team 4 years.
What's your point?
Okay. All right.
He doesn't know the playbook.
I hadn't heard that. Okay.
I have. So that's number one.
I
Number
have
two,
to.
the defense is gonna get tired of him because he's gonna be 3-and-out. And they're gonna be on the field more so often than they would be. But the top three, I think they're gonna be battling. And I think that out of all the teams, the reason I gave the Vikings an edge over the Bears is because of the synergy they have. They only lost like one solid piece. Everybody else is coming back, and they added new young players. So as long as the young players come and catch their role, but I agree with y'all. I mean, you can flip it any way you want, and it's basically when they catch hot, when the teams get hot. The only thing that I can say is that it starts off bad for the Vikings coming out the gate.
Yep.
Man, you got you got weak, man. It's just not good at all. And
I think for
that
me,
right there,
the Vikings schedule does not favor them.
the Lions too. So them two starting off, but I think that they have enough veteran leadership on their team to actually come through.
So how many wins did you have the Bears winning, Mark?
I had them winning 9 to 10 games.
9 to 10. You got the Vikings and Lions winning 9 to 10.
No, I got
games?
the Vikings winning 9 to 10.
And what about the Lions?
8, 9, 9, and 8.
Jesus.
Okay. So okay. And how many for Green Bay?
7.
7 games?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I don't think they're winning 7 games.
Okay. All right. We'll
I
see.
think they'll win maybe 5 to 6, maybe. And the reason why I say I think the Vikings are going to be third place. You're not winning 11 close games again, and that schedule is tough.
Yeah, I agree. But I look at the Packers. The Packers got the Cardinals. They got the Bucks. They got the Rams, who I think are bad, and they got the Panthers.
That's 2 cupcakes.
That's 4 cupcakes right
Panthers that could potentially win the NFC South. You're telling me they're cupcakes?
there. The Panthers could win the NFC South.
I said potentially. I didn't say they would.
Well, the Bucks could potentially win the NFC South. I doubt it.
Back there. Not with Baker Mayfield back there.
They can all
Not
potentially win.
not with Baker Mayfield.
Not
I'm
happening.
going to tell you about the Panthers. No, but the Panthers are better than you think. But we'll talk. I'll tell you about that next week.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about the NFC South. So it's all good. I mean, obviously, my predictions are the best, and we'll see once the season happens. But let's go and wrap this thing up. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next week.